everything New Orleans Pelicans from a fan's perspective. 27 points, 5 rebounds. Welcome to Pelicans Flock Report, where I give you everything New Orleans Pelicans from a fan's perspective. I'm your host, D. Broussard. Is Zion Williamson still the cornerstone? That's going to be a huge question mark going into this offseason. Is Zion Williamson still considered the franchise player of the New Orleans Pelicans? With guys like Trey Murphy, Jeremiah Fears, and Derek Queen starting to emerge, does that mean that Zion Williamson is no longer the franchise player? And will we be trading him? Will we be moving him? Will we be keeping him? We'll see. But one thing I can say is that Zion is still an elite talent. Now, Zion played a total of 62 games this season, and Zion was slim, he was trim, he was healthy, he was available, and he looked like he's only going to get better going forward. We seen Zion kind of work on a little mid-range shot. We seen Zion take a three-point shot, but he's only going to get better. And he's still relatively young. He's only 25 years old. And I think that's what a lot of people forget about Zion Williamson, being that he's been in the league for a while. I think people forget how young Zion Williamson still is, which means that he still has a lot of time left to grow and develop his game going forward, which is scary for the league if he stays healthy, because we all know that Zion Williamson has the speed, the power, the explosiveness. We know that he has all these things combined into his game, and he's just such an elite talent. Now, like I said, he's only going to get better this offseason. I'm expecting Zion to get a whole lot better this offseason, especially with his conditioning. I'm thinking that he's definitely going to try to drop a few more pounds and get his body where he wants it to be, to where he can be even more elite. So we definitely can expect a better Zion going into next season. I can guarantee that, because the reason why I say that is because Zion has, in my opinion, figured out his body, and he's figured out what he needs to do to stay on the basketball court. We've seen Zion sustain an injury, and before, if Zion sustained an injury, he might be out 30 games. But this season, there were times where Zion sustained an injury, and he was back in like 2 weeks max. So he's definitely figured out his body. He's brought in a new trainer to work on him, to develop his body and get it where it needs to be. So I definitely feel like Zion is only going to continue to get better. Now, another thing is his availability, which that has always been a problem with Zion. The last couple years, he hasn't really been available. He missed a lot of games, and this organization went through a whole lot not having a healthy star player, a player that they were definitely building around. But it's hard to build around a player if that player is not available. Now, the team has gone through a lot of losing seasons during the Zion era. This season to be, or you could say you can add this season as well. But I definitely would say that this season was not Zion's fault, because Zion was available this season. The rest of the seasons before then, I could say Zion played a part in that, because him not being available really hurt the team, especially in 2022 when we made that playoff run and we ended up losing to the Suns that year. But I really felt like talent wise and depth wise, that team with a healthy Zion was going to be a very, very dangerous team. I really do. Now, the thing is, long-term durability is still a question for Zion. And do you take a chance on a guy that has a question mark around his availability, signing him to another long-term contract. And I think this offseason, that's going to be a huge decision that the Pelicans are going to have to make, trying to figure out Zion's contract and trying to figure out if we want to keep him for the long term going into the future, or do we need to move him to gain some draft capital and make the team a whole lot better? Or I wouldn't say a whole lot better, but add pieces that's going to make the team better going into the future. Now, as I said earlier, it's other players that are emerging. You see the emergence of a guy like Jeremiah Fears, who we've seen score 40 points. You know, Jeremiah has continued to get better and better each and every game. And I feel like Jeremiah is definitely going to be a superstar in this league. I've said that time and time again. I feel like Trey Murphy at some point is going to be a superstar in this league. And I also feel like Derek Queen is also going to be a superstar. But here's the thing. I always kind of questioned why Joe Dumars traded away the 2026 pick to acquire Derek Queen in last year's draft, knowingly that Derek Queen is pretty much a power forward. I don't really view Derek Queen playing the center position. I think Derek Queen is better off playing the power forward. But when you draft a guy that basically plays the same position as your star player, where does that leave your star player? And now we've seen this season that there were times where Derek Queen and Zion really didn't play well on the floor together at the same time. So you know that Derek Queen is the future. You know that he's going to continue to develop. He's going to continue to get better. And the only way that he can maximize his potential is you're going to have to play him more minutes. You're going to have to let him figure the game out by being on the basketball court. So it's kind of like, where does that leave Zion Williamson? Or can Zion Williamson and Derek Queen figure out, I guess, their chemistry together on the basketball court at the same time and make it work? We'll see. But like I said, that was always a question mark to me for Joe Dumars to go after a guy like Derek Queen if Zion Williamson was the franchise player and the cornerstone of this franchise. So, but overall, currently, I feel like with Zion Williamson, this team that we have is very, very dangerous with a healthy Zion Williamson. And I feel like going into next season, I really have high hopes for the Pelicans if we decide to keep Zion, if we decide to keep this roster, maybe making a few changes, adding some shooting. We definitely gonna need an inside presence at the center position. And also, we're going to have to figure out who our head coach is going forward. Still a lot of question marks around James Borrego as the head coach going forward. So it's going to be some things that we're going to have to figure out. But I do feel that with the healthy Zion and the rest of our players healthy as well, I feel like the Pelicans are a very, very dangerous team, and the ceiling is very high for this Pelicans franchise. That's just my opinion. Some people may disagree, some people may agree, but hey, man, that's just my opinion. But hey, man, y'all let me know. Is Zion Williamson still the cornerstone of this team? Is Zion Williamson still considered the franchise player? Should we move on from Zion Williamson and direct our attention more to the younger players like Jeremiah Fears, Derek Queen? I don't know, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think. But before I get out of here, y'all make sure that y'all like and subscribe to the channel, the all new Pelicans Flock Report, where I give you everything New Orleans Pelicans from a fan's perspective. I'm your host, D. Broussard. Make sure y'all check out the channel as well, man. Appreciate y'all watching. I'm out.